Humbly Iridium, they're back for all killer, no filler, total frustration. The one and only Dominic McCauley and Jam. How you doing, guys? Well, ain't
right.
actually ain't one and only, is it? Because I just said two people. What the fuck?
Well, no, you said the one and only Dominic McCauley. I don't know what about you.
Yeah, I'm not. That's not my name.
So the masters of metal are here, Dom and Jam.
Oh,
I just made that up. I made that up on the spot. I didn't even plan that one. I actually thought that was true. So we're back for 2006, guys. So it's a fucking great. It's a fucking great year, by the way, and they are from now on. I think they are. And anyone who's watching the show for the first time, although I know we have our regular viewers sort of waiting with bated breath weekly to see us. Us good looking chaps. All killer, no filler, total frustration. There's a couple of rules to it. Jam's rules, which are we pick a year. Well, we don't pick a year. We're going in numerical rules. So we're 2006 at the moment. We have to choose a track, only one track off of each album that we want to talk about. We can't choose two. And the track listing has to match the original track listing of the release. And that's about it. And we go around the houses from track 1 to track 12. That's what we're doing. I think we're doing 12 tracks from now on till the end of time, basically.
And Lee never goes first because he gets confused.
Should we try?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Right, we'll try. But you might have to prompt me when I get confused again. All right?
We have to do that right anyway, so.
What I might do, because it'd be less confusing for me, I'm going to do it how it is on the screen. I'm going to go like clockwise. So for me, it's me first, then it's Dom, even though I don't think it would be Dom normally. You would be Jam first today, wouldn't it? I'm going to go me, Dom, and Jam, just so I don't get really confused, if that's all right.
Is that okay with you, Jam?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Everyone knows I am easily confused, as everyone knows. So, right, this is exciting. Me first. So,
I know, it's nice, isn't it? Feels good, doesn't it?
Oh, I don't know about that, but anyway, I've got a brilliant list, by the way, guys. So I'm going to smash you out of the park with this one. I have. Okay, track 1, guys, is a debut album, and it's sort of a project. It's still a project, but it's changed slightly recently. It's Sunstorm. Yeah, you heard of these guys? Yeah.
Jolene Turner, right?
Jolene Turner. Yeah, this was my favorite Sunstorm album, the first one, even though they've done some good ones afterwards. But they just smashed it out of the park on this one. Apparently, this was a lot of these songs got pulled from Jolene Turner's back catalogue through the 80s and 90s, I believe. Which was most of this album, a couple of new tracks on it, but they were sort of dragged out of the sort of writing records or whatever, and done for this album, and it's just fantastic. I think Jolene Turner sounds brilliant on this, and he still does now. But this is the opening track, which is also my favorite Sunstorm track, Keep Tonight. It's just rocking. Sort of a lot of the album itself there's a lot of ballads. I think there may be about four or five ballads on the album, but this is a rocking tune. Jolene Turner in great form, so catchy. They're not the same now. They've got a different singer. It just doesn't sound the same either. They've got Ronnie Romero.
Did they?
Yeah, Ronnie Romero. You know,
Oh, right, yeah.
He's singing now. It's sort of turned into a different sort of thing altogether. They shouldn't have, it's another one of the things they shouldn't have called it Sunstorm. It should have just been something else, but they've decided to do that. So apparently the story goes, Jolene Turner was let go because he wanted to do something heavier with Sunstorm. What a load of bollocks.
Oh, well, out the door with you.
Yeah, how dare you do something heavy?
I just don't believe it, because Jolene Turner, he's the one for melody, isn't he? He's the one who wants to do it. So I just think that was a load of crap. Because
even if he says something heavier, I mean, it's not going to be fucking Megadeth or something. You know what I mean?
No. And the funny thing is that new album is probably the heaviest one of Sunstorm. There you go.
There you go.
And but this is a classic. Keep Tonight. If anyone doesn't follow all of Jolene Turner's stuff, it's probably my favorite album that Jolene Turner's ever been on. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's brilliant. So there you go. Sunstorm, Keep Tonight, track 1. Okay, Dom.
Excellent. So that must have been, you knew that was going to be number 1 for this year.
Well, yeah. I mean, there was another song that I loved, but this beat it, pipped it to the post. I had to have it on there. You know, so.
Cool.
Okay.
My choice here is the ever reliable Thunder. We are on their 8th album here. I don't think they've ever made a bad record, to be honest. They I don't know how they keep, because they don't, they have their formula, but they keep writing new tunes, and they don't sound like older tunes of theirs. I mean, it's not like, it's not like they're reinventing the reel, but they still, manage to come up with like original songs. I don't know how bands like this do it, where they don't drastically change, but they still manage to write new songs. Anyway, this is the title track from Robert Johnston's Tombstone. Just another terrific album from Thunder. As I said, just reliable, great, just hard rock, melodic hard rock. Still, I mean, he still sounds as good as he ever did.
He sounds amazing, man. And live,
he does,
we mentioned it before, live.
Oh yeah,
oh man, just sounded like the record. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we're talking what, 30 years since the debut, something crazy like that. Yeah, it's amazing. So if you love the first couple Thunders, but you kind of missed the boat on some of the mid 2000s and things, because they've been releasing records straight through, and they're all quality. So check this out, Robert Johnston's Tombstone title track. Great choice, mate. And a bit of British rock as well. Very cool.
All right.
Okay, Jam, what you got, mate?
Okay, right. Well, on my list this week, I have 4 songs on here, and my favourite songs by the actual band. So that's pretty good. So it's obviously quite a good year. And this is the first one, and it's Blackstone Cherry with a debut album, and it's Here Comes the Rain. It's Rain Wizard, the great opening track from the debut album. So heavy for Blackstone Cherry. It's probably their heaviest album, actually. Love their first album. Don't even know.
Here comes Van.
Here comes Van.
Hey? Here comes Van.
Oh, he's coming, is he?
He loves Blackstone Cherry.
Oh yeah. I don't even know how I got into these, because looking back, I can't even think. I wasn't listening to the radio particularly. I don't know if I was watching it, but anyway, I was on board straight away. I even looked back and downloaded. I don't think I saw them there and picked them up. Anyway, got into them, and I even got their second. They released a live CD, live at the Astoria, a limited quantity of 1,000. I got one of them. I don't know where I got it from, so I bought one at the time. So I was obviously into them well at the time. Anyway, but this song, brilliant. They always play it live. It's my favourite song by Blackstone Cherry, and it just sums them up. I don't like them now so much these days. They've gone a bit too much sort of southern and country influences, although the last album I thought was a bit of an improvement. But from Magic Mountain onwards, there's good songs, but it's not really for me. But Rain Wizard, classic sort of rock, great album. There you go.
Well, that was the one song that Sunstorm just picked the posts. Well, I wanted Rain Wizard. And then I was like,
you might have it.
I was fighting myself with those 2 songs. But great choice, by the way. Absolutely brilliant song. But my actual track 2 is Blackstone Cherry.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And I chose Backwoods Gold. So I'm totally with you on I love them. Maybe the first 3 or 4 albums, especially the first 3. Absolutely fell in love with them. But the only thing I do sort of disagree with you, and this is a bit weird, I actually shut up. It's the cat, by the way. Of course it's the cat. I think they have gone less southern for me. That's how they sound to me. But I mean, it's just how I feel about it. And I like that raw sort of southern feel that they had. They almost feel to me now too safe. Like they sound like everyone else to me, whereas back then they had something different, something a bit raw. It was energetic and it was raw, and now it's like just listening to the same old sort of modern rock bands. Do you know what I mean? And they don't stick out to me anymore. But I'm with you. I loved them at the beginning and not so much now.
I think the good thing about them at the time was in 2006, no one was doing anything like this at all. So they were like a breath of fresh air. I think that's why, obviously, we got. I mean, there would have been bands, but no, it was a sort of band coming back to do this style of music for a debut album. It was like quite refreshing, wasn't it? But
you sometimes wonder. I wonder this with bands. Sometimes I wonder if it's because we've heard 6, 7, or 8 albums, whatever it is. You know, the new album. If that was the first album and you heard it in 2006, you might have been blown away. It's just sometimes you just have enough of the same stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That can happen as well. All this shit I think about. That's why I can't sleep. I'll just think about stuff like this all the time. Anyway, Backwards Gold. Let's get back to that. It's a real rocking track, as you know, Jam. I don't know if you know Blackstone Cherry at all, Dom, or if you got into them.
Not really. Just little bits and pieces I've heard.
Yeah, great live as well. Seen them.
Yeah,
I reckon I've seen them with Water Bridge, and I've seen them at Download as well. They sound great. Yeah, this is a real rocking tune, and they were really energetic and raw and a bit hungry, I suppose, on their debut album. But it was quite heavy as well, as you said. They mellowed out a little bit in the next couple of albums. But Backwards Gold is just a sort of a brutal southern track, really, just a real fucking heavy track. So it's excellent. So Backwards Gold, number 2 on my list.
Yeah,
there you go. Dom, what you got?
All right, I've got the triumphant return of Winger. They are back together. Original lineup. I was very happy when this happened. This is Winger 4 is the album. Song I picked is Blue Suede Shoes, which is it's not a ballad, but it's a kind of a down-tempo one. Just gorgeous, fantastic song. Out of the 6 Winger albums that have been released, this might be my least favorite, but it's still very good. So I mean, I can certainly recommend it, but I mean, just if I had to rank them, this might be my least favorite. If anything, it probably didn't have as many hooks, you know, from the original. They're kind of in between. I wouldn't say there's any sort of down tuning kind of modern metal going on here. It's just everything was a bit like this, you know. There weren't any real peaks or valleys, but still some great tunes, and this is one of my favorites on their Blue Suede Shoes. So Winger 4, it's got a comic book cover, and you would never know that it was a Winger album unless they put like Winger up in the little corner with like little words. Like they did everything they could to try to sell it without saying it was Winger. But anyway, we love them anyway. So yeah,
we do.
Winger.
We do.
There you go.
Great choice, mate. I love that song, by the way. Excellent choice.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Yeah. What you got then, Jen?
Okay, Pearl Jam have got an album out, so I'm definitely gonna have something off that because, as I said, I like all the albums. This is their self-titled album, even though it's their 8th, something like that, 9th, 7th, something around that number. And this is Worldwide Suicide, which is a cheery title, but it's despite the title, it's an upbeat. It's a faster song. It's for Pearl Jam, obviously that is, and it's a live staple these days, and they play it quite often. It actually sounds like it should be on Vitology or something like that. It's got that old school sound to it, so it's a good song. Obviously, where they have moved away slightly from that, but this one feels like it could have fitted on that album. The whole album itself is okay. Like a lot of Pearl Jam albums, they've all got 2 or 3 outstanding tracks. Life Wasted's on this as well, and so Severed Hand, which is both good tracks. And Worldwide Suicide's probably might be the first single, but no, it's always good live. Yes, despite the title, it is quite upbeat. There you go, Pearl Jam.
Very cool, very cool. Pearl Jam
Is
still
that
doing it.
Is that the Avocado album?
Yes, yeah.
I take it as an avocado on the cover. Or something.
On the cover, yeah.
Okay. Right, okay, good choice, mate. I'm actually going to Winger for my top 3. So yeah, 4-leaf clover.
Oh yeah.
Off of this album, obviously the 4th album, actually called 4. Yeah, so they've been a bit boring, I suppose. They could have called it 5. But man, you're sort of right about this album. It's great. it's absolutely brilliant. But I don't know, compared to some, they were sort of, those first couple were very in the glam sort of period when they the melodic rock, and then they've sort of gone a bit very intelligent band, unbelievably, and they've sort of changed a lot over the years. But this track is amazing, sort of lovely, sort of picky guitar melodies through the track. Red Beach on this album, by the way, isn't it? Amazing guitar player. Like I said, I mean, we've said everything about Winger in the past, but intelligent, they're different. They give you something that other bands don't. So underrated, obviously. One of the most underrated artists in rock music, easy. Just a brilliant band that are just people should give a chance to that don't, some do, some don't. The people that do give them a chance fall in love with them, but you got to give them that chance.
They're usually quite surprised to hear how they've developed over the years. They just remember 17 and whatever, but
yeah. So Winger, 4-leaf clover, 4. There you go. All right.
Excellent.
Fuck you, Beavis and Butthead.
Fuck you, Metallica.
Anyway, that's my track for you.
Don't forget Lars Ulrich writing on that board on the fucking video, whatever that was. That didn't help matters either. But anyway,
prick. Mind you, he gets enough stick about being a shit drummer. So there you go.
Well, and then they went and made State Anger, and believe it or not, that's worse than any Winger album ever. So
fucking easy, fucking easy.
All right, enough back. Okay.
Anyway, Winger, 4-leaf clover. What you got on your track 3, Dom?
Okay, it's my first of a few new bands on here. Some of them are one and done. This is one of those. Jam might have an interest in this. This is a band called The Panic Channel. This is this is Jane's Addiction without Perry Farrell, basically. I love this album. I kind of had a bit of a history with the singer. He was in a band called Sky Cycle, who I happened to see in LA, and I thought they were great. They supported someone, I don't remember who it was now. Thought they were fantastic. They got signed to MCA, recorded the record. The record got shelved. It never was released. And then this Panic Channel band came out, and I'm like, holy shit, that's the singer from that band. I really like this album a lot. I guess it's not too dissimilar to Strays, what they were doing with Strays, just really kind of anthemic rock. Love, as I said, I love the singer's voice. It's a shame they didn't do more. They worked together for 3 years, but this is the only album that they put together. It wasn't a big success, unfortunately, but I did see them on TV quite a bit. They did a lot of TV appearances and stuff with this, and man, they were exciting. I thought they were good. So unfortunately didn't go anywhere. Song I picked is Bloody Mary, and the name of the album is One. It was on a major label. It was on Capitol. I'm sure you could probably find it for £1 on Discogs or Amazon or something. It's really great. It's really good. So Panic Channel. There you go.
Very cool.
Yeah, that will have to be that's in my extremely long list of albums I've got, because I thought they sounded interesting and obviously tie in with bands I do like, but never got around to listening to. So perhaps I'll have to re-listen to it. I've got it on iTunes. I just never got around to listening to it. So perhaps I'll give it a go.
I think you'll dig it. Yeah, I mean, even if it wasn't Jane's Addiction, I think you would dig it. I think it's kind of up your street. So yeah, check it out.
Cool. Okay. Cool. Where am I going? I'm going to Incubus with their album Light Grenades, which I believe is one of their best albums, actually. I really like it. Really good. It's quite a late album in their discography. Some great songs on here. Obviously, track 3 is Dig, which is more of a slower song. It's not a ballad by any means, but it's got very good sing-along sort of chorus, pre-chorus. Quite atmospheric, actually, this song. It's, as I say, it's a slower one, and although not a ballad, but I mean, this album is really good if you want to check out some Incubus. It's got everything on there, like the last album, Crow Left a Murder, had sort of all their different sort of things they do, and this one's got some great songs on it. Love Hurts is on here, which is the ballad. Oil and Water is a great song, and what could be probably one of my favourite Incubus tracks on here is Anomaly, which is track 4, I believe, but I couldn't fit it on, unfortunately, so I went with Dig. But no, it's a great album to check out with Incubus if you so wish.
Jams, brother's favourite band.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My brother Ed, yeah. He'll be watching this.
There you go.
It's actually
Probably
peeking
in a
around
couple of
the
weeks.
corner right now. I'm going,
Yeah, make sure you fucking mention Incubus, he's saying. Yeah. Okay, great choice, mate. Okay, I'm going to a band that everyone sort of knows, but they might only know maybe 3 of their songs. A lot of people. So Toto. Guess what those? Yeah, what's those 3 songs that everyone knows? Come on. Bit of a compliment.
Rosanna, Africa, and Hold the Line.
Perfect. Yes.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah. Hold the line. Da-na-na-na. Yeah. But if anyone's gonna know 3
if you ever
Toto
played Rock Band, you would know that song.
Yeah,
That's
Oh,
exactly.
sorry. Yeah, I think I do know it. Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Down, down, down,
Yeah.
down.
brilliant songs, but you know, they ain't the only thing that Toto have done. So
But they have about 200 other songs.
Yes. So they brought out an album called Falling in Between. That's just a brilliant album. And they do a bit of everything, Toto, you know. They sound a bit proggy sometimes, I suppose. They sound, you know, they can go into a little sort of sound a little bit jazzy, I suppose, but they are a rock
a bit
band.
funky sometimes.
A bit funky.
Yeah.
Definitely a bit funky, yeah. But this song's called King of the World of Falling in Between. It's the 12th album, actually. It's just great, typical Toto, and it has a real, even though it was 2006, it has that sort of 80s infused vibes. I think they always sound like that a little bit. There's that bit in them. But like I said, people don't realise how good this band are. I mean, if you want to, I don't love everything they've done. And when I talk about the different stuff that they do, maybe the funky stuff and the jazzy stuff, I'll probably do veer more towards the AOR rocky stuff. But there's plenty of that available from Toto. But in this just great guitar riffs, sort of, I suppose you could call it pop rock, I suppose. But I love them. I just think they're very
Not a dirty
cool
word,
band.
pop rock. That's all right.
Yeah. I mean, they're looked at as well as they are great musicians, and you can hear that probably in their hits and the ones that hold the line and stuff like that. You can't hear that they are amazing musicians, but they can play anything. You know, some of the stuff they play on their albums is just blow your mind, guitar wise, especially. So great band. Toto, King of the World, Falling in Between is the album. There you go.
Cool.
Good choice, Toto. Now, have they released anything since that?
Yes. They've released one more album. I can't remember what it's called.
One more. Okay.
Yeah, one more after that. So
cool.
Cool.
All right. Right on. Okay, so for my choice, it's another rebirth of a seminal 80s quote unquote, glam metal band. This is Warrant. Who, believe it or not, I was not a huge fan of back in the day. I thought the first record was pretty good. I liked Down Boys and a few tunes. Didn't really care for that much after that. I always thought Jenny Lane had a really bad attitude. You know, he always talked about how Cherry Pie was forced on him. You know, he went and made this serious record with Uncle Tom's Cabin and I Saw Red, and Red Company made him, you know, write his biggest hit, you know, and he wrote it in 5 minutes. And he just always had this kind of snotty attitude. And not only that, but before this record, they were the worst of those bands to try to get new metal and alternative and grunge. They made a couple unlistenable albums in the 90s, just terrible. Belly to Belly and Ultraphobic or Ultraphonic, just trash, absolute trash. So the story goes, so the original band hadn't been around since I think in 93 or something. So it was Janie and 2 of the other guys. They got together, all 5 of them got back together to do a co-headlining tour with Cinderella. Tom Kiefer lost his voice before the tour started. So Warrant tried to go out on their own. About 3 or 4 shows in, Jenny Lane starts his fucking alcohol and all his bullshit, forgetting lyrics on stage, being a total prick. So they break up again. But what happened was they got back together without Jenny Lane. And this album has
Jamie St. James, is it?
Jamie St. James, yeah, the one and only album. Jamie St. James from Black and Blue is on this album.
Great
singer. It's called Born Again, and it's a stormer. It's great. It's really good. I can't say it sounds like, you know, heaven isn't too far away, but it's great melodic hard rock. and I've always loved Jamie St. James's voice.
Yeah,
the song I picked is Hell, California. I don't know if too many people have even heard this album, even know it exists, or that they had Jamie St. James from Black and Blue as their singer for a while. But if you like any of those bands, man, this is one to check out. It's a sleeper, you know. It probably sold about 5 copies, but it's quite good.
I might be getting confused and mixed up, but did the Warrant singer, what was his name again? Janie Lane, was it?
Janie Lane.
Did he sing a Black and Blue album?
No.
I thought they swapped about at some point. I might be getting.
No, I don't think Black and Blue have ever done anything without Jamie St. James.
They haven't. Right. Okay.
Don't think so.
No worries.
Could be wrong.
A great little bit of history on Warrant, though. See, but you don't just come here. You don't just come here for great tracks. You come here for a bit of knowledge as well.
Well, I guess that story.
Yes,
I guess that story became a little bit convoluted as I was telling them, like, oh, maybe no one really needs to know any of this. But
yeah, he is dead, Jam, and the story goes that, as Dom sort of said there, people sort of think that the Cherry Pie song was the thing that killed him in the end, because be like these other,
considered a serious songwriter.
Be like these other bands that had a massive hit, and then they sort of, all right, it might not be their favorite song, but they know why the money it made them. They're grateful for that, and they play it still because the fans want to hear it, and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
there you go.
Plenty of bands have moved on. We've talked about Europe. We talked about Wingers today.
Yeah.
These bands still perform the songs live, and they're not, with a smile on their face, not like they're being tortured, but they've moved on musically, and their records don't sound like they used to. But, when people go to see Europe or Winger live, they want to hear those tracks. But
yeah, I agree.
Anyway.
Yeah. Good choice, mate. Excellent. Thank you very much. What you got then, Jam?
Okay. As I'm the only champion of it, I will have a lady singer on this one, and we're going to go with Evanescence from their second album, The Open Door, and this is Lithium, which is the big, obviously a lot of their songs are sort of ballady because she's obviously a piano trained great singer. This song is just fantastic. I know it's a popular song, I know, but it's my favorite song by them. I know it's a ballad. It starts off obviously with the piano, but it is, I call it a power ballad because all the band comes in later in the song. Her singing is fantastic on this, and it's definitely my favourite song by Evanescence. I like the heavy ones as well. They do as well. I need to check out the new album. I haven't yet, or whenever it came out. Was it last year? I can't remember. But I like Evanescence. Still haven't seen them live, unfortunately. I've seen a bit of them, but I haven't. I don't think I'll probably go and see them on their own sort of thing. If they're download, I'll definitely go and check them out though. But Lithium is a beautiful song, and my number 4.
Thanks, mate. And before anyone,
I can't be accused of being a He-Man woman hater. I've got a Susie Quattro T-shirt on.
And I just want to make something clear to the viewers here. I am the most woke out of all 3 of us.
I was up earlier.
I am woke. I'm in touch with everything these days, and I do like women singers. But stop sending me any reactions and suggestions for female singers, please. Anyway, right, okay. Should we move on? My track 5. Well, you've just mentioned them actually, Dom. Europe. So they brought an album out called Secret Society this year. It's their 7th album, and another band that people sort of shun and think bad of because of maybe the Final Countdown or whatever. But they've obviously turned into more of a rocking band at this stage. A bit bluesy sometimes as well. This track actually isn't. It's called Let the Children Play, not Pray, Play. It's a real heavy riff, a great melodic chorus. It's just such an underrated band, isn't they? Another one that people don't give a chance to, they're because of maybe one song, but got a new album. They've got a new album coming out as well, I believe. Soon they're talking about a new album that's going to be coming out. So excited to hear that. But Joey Tempest, man, his voice as well. It hasn't changed a lot, has it either? He's got such a
well.
great voice.
I think it's matured a bit. It's not
Yeah.
quite so. It's a bit more. Got a bit more grit to it, which I like.
I mean, they are due a new album. The last one came out in 2017, so you know that's long enough, isn't it? 4 years, really.
Yeah.
I suppose, these days.
Well,
but,
you know, lockdown affected all these bands, so.
It did. But I've heard some rumors that they are going to bring out a new album. I'm getting excited about that. But yeah, Let the Children Play from Secret Society.
Cool.
There you go.
All right.
Okay, what you got?
Okay. My track 5 is another band that kind of had a rebirth. This is House of Lords.
Mm.
Oh, right.
They are a band who they had 2 albums out on probably 1990 and 92, something like that. Then they kind of went away for quite a while. Came back for the 3rd album with most of the original lineup. This is their 4th album when it's just James Christian, the singer, with a brand new lineup. But boy, fantastic stuff. Definitely got some young blood in there to write some great tunes. I love this record, and I think they've still been making really good records since this. It's on Frontiers, of course. So there you go. And it's the 2nd album for Frontiers. Song I picked is I'm Free. The album is called World Upside Down. And they've been on a roll since this. So definitely fans of melodic hard rock. If you love it, man, it's really quality stuff. So what can I say? Still got a good voice, and they're writing just terrific classic rock. So there you go. House of Lords.
Really highly rated, the album as well. I mean, if you visit any melodic hard rock sort of sites looking at polls that year, a lot of them it came top, if not 2 or 2nd or 3rd album. Yeah, great album. Absolutely brilliant choice, mate. Okay, we got in, Jam.
Okay, after sort of a slightly mellow, not mellow, but not so heavy side, I'm going a bit heavier now for the next 2 or 3 songs. And this is Kill Switch Engage from their As Daylight Dies album, which I believe is their 4th or 5th album. And the song is My Curse, which is another one of their big songs. This album is okay. It's still got Howard singing on this one, of course. There's a couple of good songs on here, but I think that My Curse is definitely the standout one. It's markedly less sort of, although it's obviously it's metalcore, it's still got a bit shouty. It's a lot more melodic, a lot more singing on this, especially on this song. There's very rarely screams at all on it. There's a few bits, and it's very melodic on the bridges and some of the bits. If you wanted to get, you didn't like metalcore, you could probably listen to it just about. But yeah, it's still metalcore at heart, but still a good song. My Curse.
We've said it before, you know, that band are one of the heaviest bands I've heard. When they break down, like do a breakdown or something, they're fucking hell, it's pounding. Absolutely brilliant. Their guitar sound is just amazing. Absolutely brilliant. Good one, mate. Okay, my track 6, I'm going to Wigwam. So they brought out probably my favorite album from them. Wigwam Mania was out. It's their 2nd album. This is a song called Daredevil Heat, and it's also my favorite song of theirs as well for me. You've only got, I think anyone would love this song. You only have to put the beginning on. There's a little bit where, because they fuck around as well. Wigwam have got a bit of a sense of humor as well. They sort of, I don't know, they sort of laugh at themselves a little bit. So they've got a great sense of humor. They sort of brought out an album like this year that's a bit more serious, but back then they were sort of, you know, we're not talking Steel Panther, we're not talking that, but you know, but they had some fun, you know, they have some fun in their lyrics. There's a bit at the beginning of this where it sounds like the manager's ringing like the lead singer up, trying to wake him up after a heavy night on the whatever in the hotel, and he can't wake him up, and then he does this mental scream, like one of the best screams you've ever heard in metal. Honestly, it's only at the beginning, so just have a listen to the beginning of this, and it's just a real rocking song. Daredevil Heat. It's just got everything you want out of a sort of guitar hero and screaming sort of 80s inspired track. It's fucking brilliant. Daredevil Heat Wigwam. There you go. It's excellent, honestly. Right, okay. All right, that's my track
Wigwam.
6. Wigwam.
Okay. What do I got? Oh, my track 6 is an LA band called Bulletin Octane.
Mhm.
This was their major label debut, their second album. I happened to catch them at a festival and they blew me away. And I saw them a few times after that as well in LA. This was on RCA. Again, it was just their only one shot at major label. They went ahead and released albums independently after this, but obviously they did set the world on fire. Doesn't mean they're not fucking fantastic. The song I have is Last Mistake. Oh man, I love this song. Just thinking about the title, I love it. Listen to it in my car forever. The name of the album is In the Mouth of the Young. Now, they released an album not too long ago. I think it was last year. But when I went on Wikipedia today just to look, get some research here, it does say they were a Los Angeles-based band. So it doesn't say anything down the biography that they've announced their split, but somewhere along the line, somebody put a "we're" in there. So I think they might be kaput for now. They actually got some traction in the UK because they used to come over and tour quite a bit when they were back on an independent. I think they came over every time. And they toured, I know, with Avenged Sevenfold and some other big name bands. So they definitely had some friends in the industry. Never really caught on. I would say it's kind of punk inspired rock and roll, but melodic and riffy anyway. So Bullets and Octane, if you're ever curious, put them on your Spotify and check them out.
I'll tell you what, you're talking about being on a label, and just a quick side note, and doing an independent album. I mean, there's more and more bands going independent now because it's, well, one, I think you get some brilliant produced albums independently as well, because I think the gear that they use, it's probably the same in it. Every
you can technology has come so far since the 80s and stuff. Yeah,
exactly. So to record it's probably easier, and of course you get to call the shots, don't you? And you know what I mean? What does a label actually give you? I don't know. They're not going to give you fucking thousands of pounds now for selling albums, because no one really sells many either, do they? So
and they're not signing rock bands anyway. So I mean,
no,
it's all
exactly.
dance and hip hop, you know. So
but no, great one, mate. Never heard of them, but great choice. Another unknown band for me. Okay, what you got then, Jam?
Okay, I'm going very heavy now. I'm going Lamb of God, and from their album Sacrament, which a lot of people think is their best album. I probably agree. Very good. This is the album that's got Walk With Me in Hell in it, which is a great song, and Redneck, which is probably their most well-known song. But I've gone for my favourite Lamb of God song, and that is Descending. It's absolutely brilliant. It's got so fast blast beats on it and fast guitar, but the song is actually slow, if you know what I mean. It's a slow tempo song, but the blast beats and the drumming at the start of the guitar are brilliant. And then he just sort of speaks the lyrics and then just screams into Descending, and it's just takes you. It feels like you're descending when you're listening to it. It's a great song. It's I don't know if it's a classic or not. I have seen them play it live, and I think they did last time I saw them, but they don't always play it, so it's more one that I've sort of found, if you like. But it's a great song. It's one of the more well-known ones, but it's worth hearing. It's not unlistenable. It's really good. It's got really good sort of tempo to it and song, and it's instantly a great song. Lamb of God, Descending.
Very cool. Very cool. See the variety we get on here, man. It's fucking brilliant, isn't it? Okay, good choice, mate. Okay, I'm going to one of the best singers around at the moment. I've mentioned him thousands of fucking times. I've even learnt to pronounce his name. It's Jorn, of course.
Johnny.
It's Johnny Landay. And After the Dying off of the Duke album. Now, this is where I think he's really, at this stage, he's hitting his Coverdale sort of influences more than anything. I think more Dio later on, in my opinion. He's sort of always had both, but at this stage, sounds very Coverdale to me. But he's just he's just an amazing vocalist. We've said so much about him, but this is a heavy sort of riffy song, medium paced, of course. You just can't go wrong with Jorn Londe, really. The guitaring as well, it's so fucking heavy on some of these albums. When you go back to them and listen to them, you don't realize how heavy they are. They're like, he loves the guitar up in the mix on his albums. It's just really riffy, absolutely brilliant. After the Dying from the Duke, which is his 4th album, by the way. There you go.
Yeah, it was in my short list, but I thought, well, what's the point? Because Lisa's gonna have him on. So.
I know.
Might as well talk about somebody else, because
I think there might be one album. It depends actually how many, because sooner or later in a couple of years' time, there's going to be so many songs. I'm probably going to try and choose different ones, but there's only one album I've felt was a little bit, you know, that was it. Just one. That ain't bad in our whole career, is it?
Not bad. No.
Okay.
Well, it's not just his band either, is it? It's everything else he sings for too.
Yeah. See, even if I don't choose a Journey song, it'll be something else that he's sung.
It might be something else, yeah. Master Plan or something.
Okay. Right, we
love you. We love you.
We do. We love you, Journey.
We do. All right. Me, another band we've never spoken about, but they've been around for a while. This is Evergrey. Yeah. They are Swedish, and they are, according to Wikipedia, they are a progressive power metal band. Make of that what you will. I mean, you know, it's only words, isn't it? I mean, I guess it describes them okay. They are a bit progressive metal, and I guess they can get a bit power-y at times, but again, it's not that kind of, you know, whenever I think of power metal, I think of, you know, Eagle Fly Free or whatever, you know.
Oh, well, it definitely fucking ain't that.
No. I mean, they get pretty dark at times.
They do, yeah.
Anyway, this is their 6th album already. The album is called Monday Morning Apocalypse. The song I picked is At Loss for Words. I think it's one of their more well-known songs. 6th album they're on. For this album, they're on SPV/Steamhammer, which still around. But now they're on AFM. They're still doing records. I think they had one.
They did, yeah.
Maybe this year.
Yeah.
So another band, you know, I've talked in private with you guys, and not really, but you know, just with the discovery of Spotify and everything, you just have discographies of these bands that have 20 records, and it's so overwhelming. But I don't really, you know, I mean, Evergrey have a new album this year, and I like their older stuff, and I probably love the new one, but I'm still coming to terms with their 15 albums that they have.
Yeah.
You know, before, so I'm not quite as on point with the newer stuff as I am, because I think that, you know, there's just so much music that you can catch up with these days that you want to give some attention to the old stuff as well. So anyway, Evergrey, I'm not sure if they'll be back on. It might be, but yeah, this is a great track. So
it's that album. The album you're talking about is the one that I know the most for some reason.
Monday Morning Apocalypse.
I listen to that one more than anyone. And I think it's the least liked by what I've read by the Evergrey fans, because it's probably the most accessible one, catchy one.
Yeah, that's probably why we like it. Lee.
That's probably why we like it, exactly. Because I mean, they are. I don't know if you call them whatever you said, progressive and power. I know that's how they describe
progressive power metal. Yeah,
they're one of these bands that it all sounds good, but sometimes I don't hear a chorus, you know.
Yeah, there's not. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's more about instrumentation and riffs in and out and stuff, rather than writing a chorus. Now I know what you mean, but
and
that's probably why we've latched onto this one, because it's the most
exactly. Yeah, and they're one of these bands that I've spoke about it a couple of times on the channel lately, where they're one of these bands that follow the kick drum follows the rhythm guitar a lot, so it'll be and the bass will be doing it. The kick drum will be doing it, and the bass will be doing it. A lot of bands are doing that now. I don't know if you've noticed that, but they're one of them, the biggest culprits, if you can call it a culprit, of doing that. Yeah, and
well, maybe they're one of the originators. You know, maybe they brought that sound in. You know, and others are the followers. Who knows?
Maybe. But they do everything I hear from them sounds good, but you know, I don't hear a chorus that fucking latches me on. You know,
I know.
Apart from that album, which is most hated by the Evergrey fans.
All right, high five.
yeah, man. Anyway. Right, okay, what you got there, Jack?
Okay, right, well, I'm going for the big gun. I'm going for Iron Maiden.
Ooh.
From A Matter of Life and Death album.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of this album. They played it on tour. They played the whole album on tour, which was a bit disappointing for me because I didn't like it particularly much. I mean, it's still good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not for me. No, Lee really likes it, and I thought you might have something off it. There's only one track left, so unless you got it at track 8. But anyway, this is the lead single and probably the only song I really like, and that's Reincarnation of Benjamin Brieg. It's a long one, like all the songs are, but it's 7 minutes. It's not too bad. It's got lots of different bits to it, actually. The opening bit actually reminds me of something that could have been on Somewhere in Time. The opening sort of bits they played, the guitar passage, I guess. Slow intro. It's a mid-paced song. It's not a galloper. The main riff's pretty cool, and it gets quite proggy towards the end. It does change quite a bit up at the end. There's no sort of chorus as such, but it's the best of. Not, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the song. As I say, a lot of people think this is one of the best albums that Maiden have done post 2000, but for me, I could never get into it. But there you go.
Was that Dom? Do you agree? Do you like
I agree. It was my favorite at that point of the post reunion.
Mine too. Yeah.
I liked it more than Brave New World and Dance of Death, and
they played it. It was highly thought of at the time, and that's probably why they were proud of it, because of, you know, it was a bit like a concept album, but it was all about war, wasn't it? The whole lot. But yeah,
I like the album cover as well, and I don't even like the album.
I love it. Yeah, I love the album cover.
Yeah, I like it too.
I went to see him as well on that tour.
Yeah, I did.
Funny story. I might have said this before. I took my daughter Amber. She loved Iron Maiden at the time. And that was at 2006 we're talking anyway, so she was 13, and she was so excited. Just before they came on, she puked up all over the person in front of her. She was sitting there, so I thought, she don't look right, and she was like so excited about seeing the band, she just
oh no.
Oh man, I bet she's so happy that you still tell the story.
And you told it to 150 people watching, hopefully.
Yeah, Amber, I was proud of you, the way you yacked up over that person.
Oh.
Anyway. No, brilliant. I loved it. I love that album, by the way. Anyway, might get onto them later. You never know. Okay, right. My track, I'm on track 8 and I. See, I haven't got confused yet, have I?
Yeah, so, track 8, yeah.
So, and now I'm going to Sweden. Surprise, surprise. The Poodles.
Oh yeah, Poodles.
Yeah. So, Swedish band. I did like their first couple of albums. I must admit, they went a bit weird for me later on, but I liked their first 2 or 3 albums. This is a cover version. Come on. Dancing with tears in my eyes.
Oh, great song. Ultrafox. That'll be Ultrafox.
Wow.
There you go, Ultrafox. Dancing with tears in my eyes. I mean, they do quite a few covers, actually. They brought out an album worth of covers.
They did
last year or a year before, not so long ago. Go on.
And I just heard on my headphones today, I just heard their cover of Sparks' "This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us" as well.
Yeah, and what they done on that covers album, some songs that I'm not too keen on, they covered some real like pop hits and beefed them up, which is more interesting, isn't it?
Pop,
which is more interesting than just doing the same old rock songs, isn't it? If I hear another band cover Born to Be Wild, I'll fucking kick my fucking, you know what I mean, phone up there or whatever, it gets my tits. But when someone covers a what did they cover? They covered who's the singer, the fucking most famous singer, British singer now, woman.
Oh, Adele.
They did one of her songs, and it's fucking brilliant. You know, just rearranged it into sort of metal song. Brilliant.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Poodles, Dancing with Tears in My Eyes. So a few memories there from the 80s as well. There you go.
Excellent.
Right.
What's the name of this album? Sorry.
Sorry, it's their debut album, and I fucking ain't written it down. I think it's called Metal Will Stand Tall. I think.
Oh, this is their first one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Sorry, yeah. I think it's Metal Will Stand Tall. I think that's what it's called. So I even remember.
I didn't get on the Poodle train until about 3 or 4 records in, I think. So I'm not that familiar with the first couple.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Check out that cover anyway, because it's fun. That's
cool.
Right. It's a fun
sounds
song.
great.
Yeah. Okay. All right, what you got there, mate?
All right.
Track 8.
What do I have? Oh, I've got a Swedish band as well. This is a band called the Quill. Unfortunately, they're kind of put into kind of a stoner category, but and I have heard some of their other records, and it makes a bit more sense. But this one is just a classic rock album. Man, I think probably of anything on this list, I would probably recommend this record the most. The album is called In Triumph. It's their 5th album. Song I picked is called Black. It's definitely got a 70s vibe, but the stoner tag really doesn't fit in here. His vocals are very reminiscent of a kind of Chris Cornell a bit.
Nice.
A bit. Just kind of that open throat, just a really fantastic soaring voice. Not a high soaring voice, but can just sing.
Wow.
And it's funny because again, I was looking up in Wikipedia, and I had this album first, and I bought an earlier one because of this, and then a later one, and neither one of them really stood up to this album. And I since figured out that the singer left after this album for about 10 years. So they have about 3 records after this with a different singer. And that's why I wasn't latching onto it. He's since come back, and they do have a couple more records now with this original singer. But yeah, the Quill, In Triumph is the name. I think either one of you would probably really dig this record.
Cool.
One of those records that I probably could have picked any song. It's just such a strong 70s kind of classic rock with just a terrific singer. One of those you listen to, layers come out. So there you go. If anybody's never heard the Quill, check out this record. It's got one of my higher recommendations.
Very cool. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Right, Jam, what you got, mate?
I'm going with Slipknot Light, otherwise known as Stone Sour. And this is from their second album, Come Whatever May. Some good tracks on this album. That's my favourite Stone Sour album, actually. It's got the title track is really good. Made of Scars, which is brilliant. It's an earlier track on here, which I wanted to put in, couldn't fit it on. And there's lots and lots of bonus tracks on different versions, but talking of cover version, they do a brilliant cover version of Wicked Game by Chris Isaak, which I love the song anyway. And this version's it's fairly similar, but it's really worth checking out. Anyway, the song I'm going with is Through Glass, which is probably one of their most famous songs, but it's a good one. It's acoustic sort of start. Is it a ballad? I'm not sure. It sort of builds into a. It's not certainly not a love song. It's sort of a slower one, a not so heavy one. Put it that way. I don't know if I call it a ballad or not, but it starts off acoustically, as I say, and then after about 2 minutes, the rest of the band kick in, and it's a medium-paced song then, and it's a live staple of the shows, and it's always played towards the end at an encore or just before they finish. And I was taking the piss saying Slipknot Light, but they are a good band, so I do like them. And
I've seen them live
quite
as well.
a few times.
Great band.
Very good.
Yeah, good. Okay, yeah, great choice, mate. Very good choice indeed. So you did mention that I'd have Iron Maiden. They actually have got more tracks on this album. This is a 9th.
Yes,
track.
I thought it was only 8 tracks. I've just seen there's 10. Sorry, my mistake.
That's all right, mate. This is obviously off a Matter of Life and Death. Yeah, you're right. This is one of my favourite albums from them. I don't know if I did at the time think it was better than Brave New World. I sort of battled myself a little bit. I haven't really thought about it too much, but I must admit it's one of their strongest. I suppose their accusations, they're not accusations, they're the truth, aren't they? The way they repeat choruses a lot, they actually do this quite a bit on this album. If you actually listen to this, there's a lot of repeating of choruses. but I think what they've done, it's because that's being said now, and they've made a few more albums that have done that. You start to look at older albums, don't you, and think, oh yeah, they did, you know. But I think this blew my mind. This album, it was something really special, especially compared to the one before, which was Dance of Death. I think they just blew that completely out of the water on this album. But you know, and if you read polls again of fans voting, it usually comes quite low down the list. This album actually does, which it does surprise me. But you know, it's just one of those things. But
don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not fucking Peace of Mind.
No,
but I'm saying that.
Yeah, exactly. One of the better new ones. Yes, one of the better of the return of Bruce Dickinson. Yeah, definitely one of the better new ones. And at the time, I really fucking rated this album, and I still do, but probably worn off a little bit from the excitement of a new Maiden album, you know, like you get. Yeah. But this is called Lord of Light, and it's just a brilliant track. It's long, yes, it's long. Of course it is, but it's got a brilliant galloping riff, which is quite heavy actually. And what I love about this song, it like slows down for that chorus, and it just makes it so epic and fucking heavy. And I just think it's a brilliant track, Lord of Light.
It's one of my favorites off the record as well.
Yeah, I mean, to tell you the truth, apart from track 1, which I didn't like, and I can't even remember the name of it now, it's the single.
Different
world. Yeah. Apart from that, I could have chosen any song off of this album.
Oh wow!
Yeah, apart from a different world. There you go. Okay, that's my track 9, guys. What you got then, Dom?
Okay, this one has a little bit of a story as well, but I'll make it quick because I've had a few stories tonight. Okay, so there was a TV show in America where INXS looked for their new lead singer, and it was like a reality show. It was called Rockstar, and they found their singer and they recorded a record with him, whatever. The show did so well that they said that we have to do another one the next summer. So what they did was they got together a super group.
I watched it. Yeah.
Oh, did you? It broadcast in Britain. Okay. Oh, I wasn't.
No. Okay. I downloaded it because I read about it. So I downloaded it specifically to watch it. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, for those that don't know, it was Tommy Lee, Jason Newsted, Gilby Clarke. This was the super group. They were called Supernova. They found their singer named Lucas Rossi, who I liked. Some of the critics didn't think he was so great, but I thought he was good. And this record is really underrated. I think it's really stood the test of time as well. I think actually it's a bit ahead of its time. I think if it came out now, it probably would have got a bit more attention. It's really funny how people can watch a show that, you know, millions tune in to the show, and then when the record comes out, only like, you know, a couple thousand people buy it. It's like, well, what were you watching that for? And if you don't even care what the music sounds like. Anyway, so Supernova is the name of the band. I picked Valentine off their self-titled album. They did stay together for a little bit. They stayed together for 2 years. They did tour this record. In fact, they toured with Panic Channel, which is funny because Dave Navarro hosted the Supernova show, so it was all kind of an incestuous thing. But so Supernova, Valentine, it's good. It doesn't sound like any of the other members' bands. It doesn't sound like anything on Motley Crue or Metallica or anything. It's, I guess you would call it modern heavy rock, I guess. But yeah, I enjoy it, and I still listen to it. It still comes up in my shuffle, and I still think, wow, this is pretty good. So there you go.
Good one, mate. I always enjoy your stories, by the way. You can carry on with it. It's fine, mate. Okay. What you got in, Jan?
Okay, well, I'm going with first appearance, not their first album, but, it'll become clear why. This is a band called Catatonia, not to be confused with the Welsh one. And
Catatonia with a K.
Yeah, with a K, sorry, with a K. And they started off as a death metal band, which is why I had appear before. But they are absolutely nothing like a death metal band now. And I'm not just saying that. There's no harsh vocals. There's nothing. They're more like a gothic prog rock band now. They've got gothic elements. They don't even. they're always compared to like Opeth, but Opeth have a lot of sort of folky and acoustic. These aren't like that. They're progressive, but they're more gothic. They're sort of more rock. And this album, Great Cold Distance, is where it started, and the albums after this are just brilliant. City Burials and Full of Hearts? I love Full of Hearts. That's a great album. Dead End Kings is brilliant as well. I'm going to see him in February, actually, hopefully, fingers crossed. But this song, brilliant. It's my favourite one. It's called July. It's a classic. No harsh vocals, as I say, soft verses and a catchy chorus, and there's lots of prog elements in it. But they're not overlong songs. That's the good thing about them. They're not here to bore you. They might change up a bit, but they're just immediate. They're it's catchy, but gothic is hard to explain. They're worth listening to if you've never heard them. Catatonia is newer stuff. You might like it. Perhaps not yours because it's not really that sort of thing, but you wouldn't hate it. Put it that way.
I've heard a few of their songs.
I like them as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a few of their songs. I think they could. I think they could go on tour with Evergrey. Actually, what do you think? They're that sort of dark sort of music. You know, what I mean, it's not. I'm not saying they're the same, but they. I don't know.
I kind of know what you're saying. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. But I have heard them. I have heard a few of their songs.
Okay.
Quite good.
Yeah, good.
Quite good.
I didn't, I didn't realize that they had ditched the harsh vocals this early because I took a chance on the last record, which is what was City of Burials or something.
City Burials, yeah.
Yeah, and I really like. In fact, I was listening to it today, coincidentally enough. But I didn't realize that way back in 2006 they were already doing the kind of melodic stuff. So I need to catch up. Another band with their 13 albums or whatever,
Yeah, some of the other ones. Yeah, New Year's Day, I think, as well, was the one after this one, and then that's similar, and then Dead End Kings, and then Full of Hearts, obviously, and then the new one, City Burials, which I haven't actually listened to myself yet. I haven't got around to it, but obviously
you've only got 5 hours worth of music to listen to add to you.
And it's not just once. I mean, you have to listen to this stuff like over and over again because it's intricate and there's lots of parts to it.
But all the time you're listening to that, there's other stuff that's being.
I know.
That's too much. Fucking too much. Anyway.
Yeah. Too hard.
Okay. I'm going back to a band. Good choice, by the way, Jan. I'm going back to a band that I've mentioned a couple of times. Zeno. Zeno is actually Zeno Roth. Uli John Roth's brother. This was the final album that he'd done, and he's died soon after this. I can't remember how many years after this, but he did die after this. This is his 5th album. It's a song called "Do You Feel the Time" off of "Runway to the Gods." So he actually got Michael Borman on this album. Who's Michael Borman, lads? If you listen to me, come on.
Michael Borman.
Yeah,
is he a film director?
Who did he sing for? I've mentioned this band loads. Jaded Heart, of course.
Oh, right.
Oh, Jaded Hard, yeah.
Oh, Jaded Hard. Yeah. Jaded Hard now. Jaded Heart back then. But this was a brilliant album. I mean, I do prefer, not that I loved Michael Borman's voice, but to sing for Zeno, the Zeno band, I preferred the original singer. I wouldn't even say I preferred the original singer to Michael Borman's voice. But when you put things together, they have to match, don't they? Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
But it is a great album still, and quite highly thought of by Zeno fans, the 3 of them that there are out there. But I mean, this is just real catchy sort of AOR stuff, but highly intelligent AOR. Mainly of that's mainly because of Zeno Roth's guitar work, which is like his brother's. He always I mean, that's what he gave to Scorpions, didn't he? He gave them something completely different back then. Even though I'm a Scorpions 80s fan, you listen to some of the guitar and he did back in the 70s with Scorpions, and you're like, fucking hell, that ahead of his time, if you like, one of them. And Zeno was a bit like that, and sort of Queen influences over this whole album as well. So very cool song, Do You Feel the Time, off of Runway to the Gods, the 5th and sadly final album of Zeno. There you go.
What?
Sorry to bring
All
you
right.
down. Sorry to bring you down a bit. We do like to talk about death on this show as well, don't we?
Well,
Everybody
metal and
dies.
death hand in hand, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
We're all gonna die someday.
Oh, for fuck's sake! They might.
Everybody
Oh,
dies.
spoiler
No.
alert.
Yeah, sorry.
Not unless you believe in vampires, and then you might not die. There you go.
I don't know.
Okay.
I definitely don't want to live forever.
Yeah.
Just like Lemmy.
Yeah.
I don't want to live forever.
Don't forget
He
the
didn't
joke.
joke.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Okay.
Right.
We're on 10, right?
Yep,
10.
yep.
Okay, we have Paul Stanley's solo album, Live to Win. I can't believe this album is 16 years old or 15, 16 years old. It's insane. Okay, so Paul Stanley, Live to Win. You can say it's his first solo album if you don't count the 78 when they all did solo albums. This album was just okay for me. My friend who's a huge Kiss fan describes it as, it sounded like he recorded the whole thing sitting down. Which it makes sense. I mean, there's no real kind of just fucking, real ballsy rock and roll on here. It's all kind of, just doesn't really do much. But the standout track for me is this song. It's called Where Eagles Dare. Closes the album out. And by far, I think it's the strongest song. Great chorus. I wish the whole record was like this, to be honest. What can I say? Everybody knows what Paul Stanley sounds like. As I said, the album is a bit more just kind of mainstream pop rock almost. I think he might have had some of those like Swedish producers in there, not Swedish metal producers, but like the kind of pop rocky guys that are behind all the big hits or whatever. But anyway, if there's one song you listen to, Where Eagles Dare is fantastic. So there you go. Paul Stanley, Live to Win album.
Thanks, mate. Didn't even know he brought out a solo album bit then, but very cool.
Really? Oh my gosh.
No.
Terrible promotion by the record company.
I mean, I know about his new. I know about the Soul album he's brought out or bringing out. I know about that. That's been everywhere. Fuck it now.
I will say I saw him on this tour and he was fucking fantastic. So he still had his voice, and he did songs from the 70s solo album, and he did some 80s Kiss songs, and it was really good. But anyway, go ahead.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, Jam, what you got then, mate? Track 10.
Okay. Going to someone mentioned earlier, or Dom did, not the band, but the singer. This is Audio Slave on their third and final album. Obviously with Chris Cornell, another person who's no longer with us, unfortunately. Revelation's third album. I like the first album best. The other two albums are okay. This song is quite underrated. It's called Wide Awake, and it's it leads with like a really, really cool bassy type riff. It's got a great groove to it. It's great vocals. It's a mid-paced sing-along song. It doesn't have that Rage Against the Machine elements that the first Audio Slave album had on it. So it almost sounds like a Chris Cornell song, this one does. So if you're not a fan of that sort of thing, but you like Chris Cornell, this is probably one to listen to. And it's just a really good sort of song. It's not a ballad or anything like that. It's just a cool mid-paced, great vocals as always, Chris Cornell song. So check it out if you haven't heard it. Wide Awake. There you go.
We get Chris Cornell, amazing voice. We mentioned him quite a bit on here, whether someone sounds like him or it is him. It's quite cool. So,
it's a unique voice, isn't it? Shows you,
shows you the influence that he had. He definitely had some influence there, but he was influenced highly, isn't he, from the 70s as well, I would say.
Oh, sure, yeah. No matter if he came up through the grunge era or whatever you want to call it, his influences were definitely kind of 70s based. I always thought, anyway.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Great choice, mate. My track 11. Metal Crusader 666 is going to like this. Who is it? Who is it?
Hammerfall.
Yeah, man. So off the Threshold album, which is 6th album, and a song called Titan, which is a very cool. I mean, this is how I like my Hammerfall songs. Actually, it's a slow to mid-paced chugging track, sort of almost like a Priest sort of chug. Do you know what I mean? They're mid-pace sort of chug. I like the Priest songs that are like that as well.
Yeah.
So very cool song. Titan, just a really cool metal song. and it sounds quite really heavy as well. I mean, it's just some of their songs, and the more they slow them down, the fucking heavier they get, in my opinion. But there you go. I am an old mid-paced person, but Hammerfall Titan off of Threshold. There you go. What a great track. Cool. That's my track 11, guys. What you got then? Dom?
Excellent. Okay, track 11 for me. We mentioned them before. I certainly had them on a list or two. Harem Scarum. This is their 11th album. Harem Scarum, 11th album. Now, I will say that a few of the albums, I think the 4th and the 5th, they temporarily changed their name to Rubber. But now they're considered Harem Scarum albums. I don't know. Whatever. I'm sick of telling stories about these bands. Anyway, this is their 11th album called Human Nature. The song I picked is Tomorrow May Be Gone. It sounds like they started just fantastic melodic choruses. Not quite AOR. Definitely melodic rock though. They sound like they could have been made and been played on the radio in '83 or something. Just a classic band that knows a good song. They can still write them. So there you go. Harem Scarum, Canadian band.
Very cool. Cheers, mate.
Okay, I've got Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie is back with Educated Horses album. It's got a slightly different direction to some of the other stuff. It's quite good. It's quite cool. I quite like it. Cover's not very exciting, but still a few good songs on here. American Witch, Devil's Rejects, but I've gone with Lords of Salem, which of course is sort of ties in with some of the films. It's got a great video. I don't know if you've seen it. It's an animated video for it. It's pretty cool. It's very slow. It's not like, because some of the Rob Zombie songs are quite sort of pacey, something like Dragula or something like that. This is very sort of slower, but heavy with it, slow and heavy. Great catchy chorus, live favourite. You've seen Rob Zombie live. He always plays this, and it's one of his better songs. I think. I don't think his album is amazing, but it's certainly got some good stuff on there. He struggled to do a completely good album, I reckon, since probably Hellbilly Deluxe, the first one. But I haven't checked out the new one yet. That being said, it's come out this year. I think it did, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't checked out that yet, but this song is really good. Lords of Salem. And again, Rob Zombie.
Yeah, it was one of his films, wasn't it? Lords of Salem, I think. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that one, but
I've seen some of them. They're mostly all awful, from what I could tell.
Talking about fucking excellent filmmaker. Anyway, good choice, though, mate. My track 12, my last track, isn't it?
12, yeah.
Dom's had this album. He's mentioned this one.
Ooh.
This is House of Lords.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And the song SOS, which is it's a great track. Obviously, you've mentioned James Christian, the singer. He's just got a real sort of husk to his voice, isn't he? So it's a great voice. American band, obviously, I think you said that as well. On Frontiers, this is probably one of my favorite tracks on the album, but it's probably my favorite album from them. I don't think, this was highly thought of, I know, but I think they made some good albums after this, but I think this one had the sort of the real sort of hooky, most catchy sort of songs on it, And I think it took everyone by surprise a little bit, this album, because of how good it was, And,
because it didn't have any of the original members other than the singer.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people weren't expecting much.
Yeah, it's got some heavy songs on it. I mean, the guitar's really up on the mix. It's not like an AOR album. It's definitely quite heavy, but no, it's brilliant. House of Lords, SOS is my last track. There you go. That's my list. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
So I'm closing with another kind of obscure one, LA band again. Only major label album. It's a band called Bangkok Five. There was this whole slew of bands that were getting signed that were they were hard rock, but I can't say they're metal. I would say influences 70s and maybe even some 80s, more like punk new wave influence. I would say there's some Billy Idol in this band, like a Rebel Yell type of vibe. But yeah, they're great as well. I saw them twice. of course, the album didn't do anything, and they had one EP after this that was decent, but not quite as good as this one. And then they were no more. But man, what a standout record! I can still another record that I probably could have picked any song on. Just a fantastic standout album. I think they probably worked on these songs for a couple of years before they got signed. So once they got in the studio, they had all of these tracks that were just honed to perfection, I think. Anyway, the song I picked is called Deadlights, and the name of the album is Who's Gonna Take Us Alive? The Bangkok Five. Another great band. I'm sure it's out there somewhere on YouTube. If you ever want to hear something new, some sort of like modern rock that isn't Foo Fighters for the millionth time, put on Bangkok Five and listen to these songs and ponder why they never did anything.
I know. There are some amazing bands out there. I mean, this year has blown my mind with some bands, some records, that I just can't believe how good they are, and independent, most of them. It's just
absolutely.
Mad. I mean, I'm not being, some of the stories I've heard from bands that have sent me some stuff and have said that they've also like been turned down by labels like Frontiers, and they are just, you just think, how the fuck can they do that? I'm not saying Frontiers are bad, but some of the stuff ain't that good. You know what I mean? Some of it, I don't review a lot of it because I just think it ain't all that. But and some of these bands that are being turned down by the labels, it's just mad. I mean, I think they've messed up a little bit on some of them, in my opinion.
It all comes down to a couple people's opinion, doesn't it? That's always been the thing with major labels. It's like, even local bands that draw like 1,000 people to their club, to their club gigs, whatever. And then there's 3 people at the label that say, "Oh, I don't really hear it," and just pass on it. So
crazy.
It's like that band. They've had a lot of hype, and I think it's done really well. It's that I've been reviewing their songs. That Nesta band. Have you heard of them? Swedish band.
I've just seen the name on your channel. Yeah.
They've sort of done a really good promotion thing with their music, and they got Sam Fox to sing on one of their songs, which is a great bit of promotion as well. And they sort of built up this hype around sort of in their videos. They're set in the 80s, and they're bringing that sort of feel back more than any band I've ever seen. And they've sort of built such this hype around their videos, but their songs back it up as well. And they got turned down by Frontiers, and they're the perfect band for them to sign. But they've smashed the fuck out of it, I believe, on their sales because of their promotion. It's just so there you go. It's just like,
got to be smarter than the average bear these days.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Okay, great list though, mate. Cheers, Dom. And
Thank
some
you.
great new bands there that people can check out.
Hopefully. Great lost band.
Okay, Jan, what you got, mate, for your last one?
I was just going to say we've got a hell of a lot of different genres crossed over on this show, haven't we? Jesus, some of them come from one of the streams to the other, really, and lots of great stuff. Okay, I'm going with the cover version actually, and it's a British artist, and it's a singer from Deep Purple, and it's Ian Gillan with his album Gillan's Inn, as in the pub. Cover versions of his own songs, his own solo songs, I mean, Deep Purple songs. There's a Black Sabbath cover version of Trashed, which I really like, from the Born Again album. And it's also got one new song on it. But this is one of my favourite Deep Purple songs. And obviously we couldn't get any early Deep Purple on here because we started in 1980. But this is Speed King, which was one of my favourite songs. I think Fireball's probably my favourite song, but Speed King. No Hammond organ in this one. They cut the intro out on it.
Good.
You'll like it.
Lee'll love it.
Is this special version better than the original? No, not even close. But then again, it's all right. It's got Joe Satriani.
I almost fell for it there. I thought he was going to say yes.
Yes, so did I. Yeah.
You can't beat the original. I don't see the point of this album, if I'm honest. It's all right. I don't see the point of re-recording it. But again, it's got Joe Satriani on it.
All killer, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, but I don't see the point in it. Yeah.
But that's a great song, and as you said, we couldn't. Yeah, we couldn't talk about a 1971 Deep Purple track, so you might as well get it on.
Is this the first time we've had someone covering their own song? And
I think so.
I couldn't believe it. Why would you cover your own songs from your own solo albums? What's the point of that?
Mind you, a lot of bands redo their stuff, don't they? Mainly for production purposes. But I mean, if sometimes that's the good bit about it, about how rough it sounded. It had that feel, didn't it? You know.
Speaking sounds amazing. Don't need to re-record that.
I was never a Deep Purple fan, but yeah, you know, it's one of those things.
We know.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not going into that now. Anyway, have you got any? It's me first, isn't it? For honourable mentions.
Yes, you go on, my son.
Metal Church brought Light in the Dark album out, another great metal album, just on the list of the rest of them. Dream Evil brought United out. I think this could have been their last album. It's been a while now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I sort of like Dream Evil, but they're really fucking heavy. Like for that, I think they're classed as power metal as well, I believe. But I've never fully gotten into them, but I don't know, there's something about them. I don't know what it is, where I've never fully gotten into them, but I quite like them. They're all right. Firewind brought Allegiance out. I actually preferred their original singer than on this album. I can't remember the name of the original singer, but the first 2 or 3 albums I preferred. And Pretty Maids. Yeah. Pretty Maids brought Wake Up to the Real World. Pretty Maids. What a name of a band. Anyway, that's my list done. Thank you very much. That's it. I don't mention songs, I just mention bands, as you know, and albums.
I have a couple albums to talk about quickly. Army of Anyone, which is Stone Temple Pilots with the singer from Filter. The second album that they've done without Scott Weiland. I talked about Talk Show, how that was my favorite thing they've ever done, and that was another one that was the band with a different singer. Army of Anyone's got some great tunes on there as well. Really, really strong. For some reason, you know, people only cared if it was Stone Temple Pilots, but if you're a fan, man, you don't know these other albums that don't have Weiland on them. Yeah, really good stuff.
That's another one of my list of ones on my iTunes that I've got. I never got around to listen to. So,
all right, I recommend it highly. I think you'll like that as well. What else do we have? I want to talk about an album that it's been mentioned on here, and it's certainly not as good as the original, but Operation Mindcrime 2. I did like quite a few songs on this, especially compared to the few albums that came before this. I'm not saying it's a return to form, but it was certainly a step in the right direction as far as I'm concerned. But we have to talk about the duet with Dio, man. That was so exciting when it came out. Just to hear Jeff Tate and Ronnie trading lines and stuff. It's really great. I can still put it on and just go, wow, that's really cool. So if we have to talk about that, that's called The Chase. That's track number 10. It would have been on there if that Paul Stanley track, I had to have that on there anyway. And Slayer, Christ Illusion, not my favorite Slayer album, I have to say. Few good songs. And then Backyard Babies had an album, which again, probably my least favorite Backyard Babies album, unfortunately, but they really bounced back after this. So there'll be more of them in the future. That's cool. Me.
Thanks, mate.
Cool.
Well, what have you got in Jam?
I haven't got many. I do want to mention a song. I was quite obsessed with it at the time. Dragon Force, Through the Fire and Through the Flames from Inhuman Rampage. I remember when this came out, the video and the guitar solo.
Yeah,
absolutely mad. Yeah. I mean, but I soon got bored with Dragon Force. It's just, it's the same sort of thing over and over again. And I'm a bit bored of this song as well now. But at the time, it was just like, wow, brilliant guitar. Herman Lee, is it his name, I think? Brilliant. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I've got an album. I don't know if Dom's heard it. You might want to check it out if he hasn't. A band called Dirty Rig. And it was Corey Clark from Warrior Soul was the singer on it. Wow. And they're pretty just sleazy rock and roll, metal. Worth checking out if you haven't heard it. Dirty Rig. Rock Did It is the album. They only did one, like a lot of his stuff. So I might check it out. Although I couldn't get anything off it, but it's worth checking out. Mastodon, Blood Mountain, trying to get into Mastodon, as I mentioned before, so it's supposed to be one of their best ones, worth mentioning. Skid Row did Revolution Per Minute with Johnny Solinger, I believe, on vocals, who's late Johnny.
That's the best Skid Row album post Sebastian Bach. It's the best thing they've done since he left.
Yeah, I need that. Yeah, it's pretty good, that one. And The Sword, I got quite into the band called The Sword. They've done some really good stuff. They've got some great album covers. I like it. Not listened to it in a while though, so I didn't really pick anything. But yeah, good band. Quite heavy, bit progressive, bit thrashy. Yeah, good. And then Tool did 10,000 Days, but we've spoken about Tool a lot. You know, but I like them, but yeah, just not into them as everybody else seems to be. That's it.
It's weird with Tool. I sort of, when they first bring an album out, like that one they did, was it last year? Fear Inoculum, was it? At first, I was listening to it for quite a bit and thinking, oh yeah, fucking hell, it didn't take long until I stopped. But it was one of them albums that, and I don't do it often to teacher, if I keep playing it. You know what I mean? I just keep going back to the beginning. I don't usually do that these days because there's too much music. But I did with the album and I was really impressed with it. And then it just, I don't know. They just were, they just, in the end, I just think, oh, you know, it's just pretentious, isn't it?
Okay, enough. We get it.
Pretentious, I'd say. That's probably going to upset some. I don't know. I don't think there's that many tall people that watch the show, to tell you the truth, but it does sound a bit.
I mean, it's just our dumb opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't know. We know fuck all anyway. So there you go. Anyway,
well, we're talking about our taste, aren't we? We're talking about what we like. We
are.
like what we want.
You
can like what you want. Who's watching it?
Yes.
So that's it.
Well, listen, thanks, guys. It's been great as normal. I've loved talking about it, and obviously we're going to be 2007 next, is it? It's 2007.
Oh, I just want to say to all the Americans, Happy Thanksgiving. This was our special Thanksgiving episode. I forgot to mention.
Sorry, but I'm too woke to talk about Thanksgiving. You can't have Thanksgiving.
Oh, right, because of the Indians.
Yeah. So we're going to have to ban that. I'll cut that bit off. All right.
Okay. Fine.
No, happy Thanksgiving, you guys. There's a lot of Americans watch this show and watch my show. So, yes. Or Jam Show. This is Jam
Show.
Not
my show. It really is.
It fucking is. It is Jam Show. We get rules sent to us every week, by the way. Anyone who's watching us, what we can and can't fucking say.
You should see the emails. Jeez.
Yeah.
The fines are.
The fucking small print. The small print is ridiculous, honestly. Anyway, thanks, guys, as normal. It's been great hearing you guys. Loving the stories, Dom, today, by the way.
All right.
Yeah, no, they're brilliant. That's brilliant, honestly. So, obviously, of course, guys, do your lists as normal.
Yes, please.
We love looking at them. We love looking at them. So keep them coming. And we'll see you soon.